Hello and welcome to our Snakes and Ladders TBR for 2024. In this video we're going to be picking at January 2024 TBR, and this year it really is out with the old and in with the new. I've made an entirely new board. We also have new cards and we also have a few brand new elements of the game that I've never done before, so I'm very excited. So as it is the first TBR of the year and we do have some new elements to talk about, I'm going to go through all of the rules and new features, and I'll have it all timestamped below so you can skip to when we're going to just start doing the rules for January, but just to have it all in one place, all the rules are going to be here in this video. So let's just get straight into the rules and then we can roll afterwards. So the basic rules: I roll an 8-sided die 6 times to land on 6 squares to pick up 6 prompts to pick 6 books. Essentially, I roll the dice, I land on a square, that square leads to a prompt, the prompt leads to the book. Today we will start at square 1, but from now on we will start the month's TBR based on the square we ended on the previous month. If we land on a ladder, we get to move up the board and -1 roll from the entire amount. And if we land on the snake, we have to move down the board and add a roll to our total amount. Now there are 5 coloured squares on the board and each square leads to a type of prompt. So purple is visual, orange is genre-ish, blue is game, yellow is type, and green is other. When you land on a certain square, you pick up a card from the corresponding pile and that card will have a prompt on it. And because I have completely redone this game this year, I'm now going to insert a clip of me going through absolutely every single prompt. So I've split it up into the prompt type and then I will show you every single card that is in the deck. Okay, so here are all of my prompts. In the visual category we have hardback with design under dust jacket, Halloween colours, dark colourway, muted colourway, bright colourway, pastel colourway, something celestial on cover, buildings on cover, nature on cover, map, only words on cover, element on cover, crap cover, outfit match, wild card, illustrated cover, landscape on cover, foiling on cover, matte cover, glossy cover, special edition, which I have just noticed now has somehow got an R added to it, but we all know what that means, weapon on cover, pink cover, flowers on cover, metallic cover, white cover, black cover, purple cover, orange cover, yellow cover, green cover, red cover, sprayed edges, amazing cover, face on cover, plants on cover, person on cover, blue on cover, feline on cover, domesticated animal on cover, bird on cover, and animal on cover. So those are all of the visual prompts. They can now get all mixed up to go back away. Then we have genre-ish. Most of these are genres, however there are some things in here that aren't technically genres, but they just kind of feel like the same category. Contemporary, fantasy, mythology retelling, horror, thriller, non-fiction, memoir, historical fiction, cozy mystery, mystery, poetry, graphic novel, LGBTQIA+, own voices, cozy fantasy, contemporary, short stories, translated, seasonally appropriate book, wildcard, urban fantasy, dark fantasy. As you can tell, these fantasy ones are all kind of same vein, epic/high fantasy, classic, dystopian. Then we have magical realism, literary fiction, fantasy romance, which is one of my most read, genres, fantasy, which is one of my most read genres, and sci-fi, which is one of my most read genres. And because those three are my most read genres, we also have fantasy romance, fantasy and sci-fi again just have a slightly higher chance of picking the book that take up 85%, I guess, of my shelves. So yeah, these can all be mixed together and go away ready for our first game. Then we have game. So every single prompt within this card stack is some sort of gamified way to pick the book. This is quite a variety of things, but you'll get the idea as we go through them. Every letter of my first name on the cover. Book with all letters of a random word in the title. Play someone else's TBR game to pick book. Steal from someone else's TBR, so watch someone else's TBR, probably from the previous month, and steal a book that they've put on their TBR. On TBR for 2+ years. Second chance author, random word generator, author with same initials, lowest rated book on my TBR, highest rated book on my TBR. Buzzword readathon books. This is a readathon hosted every year by Books and Lala. I like to partake and try and complete all the prompts as one each month. So if this comes up, it means I can pick a book specifically to fill that prompt for the month. Title with the same number of letters as my name. Goodreads rec. TikTok rec, that's a new one. Random letter generator, random number generator, wildcard, physical TBR video comment pick. So every year I make a video. These are all of the books on my TBR. Leave me a comment down below, ones that you think I should prioritise or ones that you recommend, sort of thing. So I'd go to that and generate a random comment. Coordinate pick, so I ask for a number, that number is my shelf. I ask for another number and that number is the book. Blind pick, random emoji generator. Jeff pick, which I'll also show you a little bit closer because yes, I did add a picture of my cat. I used to have one just called cat pick, but then when they both come running at the same time, Dream is, it was a bit confusing as to which one I should like listen to. So you've now got Jeff pick, but even if they both come running, I'm paying attention to Jeff. And we also have Jafar pick, so for that one, if they both come running, I'm just paying attention to Jafar. We also have a J pick. Jay's my boyfriend, but I thought he deserved a picture on the cards the same as the cats. Tarot card pick, last letter to first letter, so whatever the last letter is of the previous book that I picked, the first letter of the book for this prompt needs to be the same as that last letter. Phone a friend. Booktube rec. Every letter of my name on the cover. So this is slightly different to this one. So this is every letter of my first name. This is every letter of my name, which there's a lot of. Then we also have random colour generator, Instagram rec, and a poll pick. And those are all of the prompts for game. Then we have the type cards. This is all to do with the type of book I'm picking. Library book, spring vibes book, summer vibes book, autumn vibes book, winter vibes book, ebook, published this year, published last year. Hyped book. Has been adapted, so this can be a TV show or a film or even like a play, just has been adapted in some way. First person perspective, third person perspective, multiple POV, reread, signed book, gothic book, sweet book, spicy book, book that's won an award, book for a vlog project, part of series 4+ books within that series. Trope I love, trope I hate, set in real world, set in another world, set in past, set in present, set in future, wildcard, audiobook, small book, so less than 200 pages, middle book, so 200 to 500 pages, and big book, so 500+ pages, start a series, continue a series, finish a series, charity shop book, paperback, hardback, Kindle book, debut book, 5-star prediction, standalone, part of a duology, part of a trilogy, young adult book, new adult book, a novel, and a novella. So those are all the types of books that we could be picking from. Again, I'll mix them up to put them back away. And then we have the other stack. So these are basically any prompts that didn't really fit into any of the other categories, they go in the other pile. Name in title, 3-word title, title with a the, of, or and in the title, wildcard, even numbers of pages, new author, author I've read from before, odd number of pages, oldest book purchased, newest book publication, newest book purchased, less than 500 reviews, read it this one for unhaul it, ghost character, witch character, longest book on TBR, shortest book on TBR, oldest book publication, fae character, vampire character, werewolf character, siren/mermaid character, dragon character, rural setting, urban setting, numbering title, one word title, placing title, features disability representation, features magic, features royalty, features game/trial/tournament, features academic/training setting, morally grey character, published before I was born, published this year, published last year, most recent purchase, which yes, I am now realising is the same as newest book purchase, but oh well, we've just got 2 chances to get it. A book you haven't seen on booktube, god/godlike character, old main character, human main character, and non-human main character. So those are all of our other prompts. Again, mixing them up. I feel like a few of these I could have put in other categories, but I just feel like this is a nice, very random category. If you land on other, you really don't know what sort of prompt you're going to get. And if there were any prompts that you thought of whilst you were looking at that I didn't have wrote down, I did make a few extra bonus cards, so do leave them down below and I can always add them into the game. But yeah, that is all of the potential prompts. And then we have 4 more squares to talk about on the board, and these are our 4 silver squares. These are at squares 25, 50, 75 and 100. On squares 25 and 75 you will see it is a TBR jar square, and essentially this is going to be a jar of absolutely every single book on my owned physical TBR at the end of 2023. Now I haven't actually made this jar yet because I'm still waiting on some orders to come in, but once they've come in I will be, you know, sorting that jar out. We're going to have every single book in. This could give us a variety of things. We could end up with book 5 in a series I haven't started yet, and that automatically adds 5 books to our TBR. We could end up with the book that I'm absolutely most excited about for the whole year. We could literally end up with picking anything out of this jar, and whatever I pick out the jar I will have to read no matter where it is, except for if it's already been read. Like the last day of December I'll be putting all these books in the jar. If I get this square in March and I already read the book that I picked out in January, I don't need to reread it. But except for that, whatever's picked out needs to be read. Then on square 50 we have TBR game, and you will also see this show up in the prompt cards. But essentially what this is, if I land on this square I have to play someone else's TBR game. Now I can set this up myself. I can, you know, if I've got all the things to set up at home, I can set it up and play a round of their game. Or I can watch someone's TBR video from the previous month, skip to a random timestamp, and the next prompt that comes up needs to be read. And that's what I'll probably end up doing. But yeah, this completely takes it out of my hands. This completely is just whatever comes up in someone's TBR game, I'll pick my book that way. And then square 100, the big one, and the last square on the board is buy a book. If I land on this square, I simply buy a book to read. That's it. And the reason why this one is such a nice one is because for all of 2024 I'm only going to be buying books when I have a bingo on the broke bitches book buying ban, and this, along with a reward card, which you'll see in a little bit, that's a new edition, are the only ways that I can buy a book this year if I don't have a bingo on that board. So they're yeah, extra nice, get to buy it without needing to get a bingo first. It's like basically a free book. Obviously I need to pay for it, but like, yeah, it's just a nice additional extra and I'm really excited about it. And I believe that that is absolutely everything you can see on the board spoken about. So now there is one more thing we need to speak about, and that is my new addition to 2024. And these won't come into play until February, but from February onwards we will pick a little prompt out of this jar at the start of every single game, and this is my rewards and punishments jar. Now I really need to actually read the books on my TBRs that I'm picking out each month, and this is hopefully going to encourage me to do that. I quite often don't finish my TBRs but I read way more books than I had even on my TBR that month because I go off mood reading something random. So yeah. If I complete the previous month's TBR, then I get to pick out a purple prompt out of the jar, and purple is a reward. And the 7 rewards that I have in there that I could end up picking out are: read a fantasy, can swap a prompt for a mood read, can ignore the next snake, can swap 1 prompt for the next in the pile, buy a book, can swap 1 prompt for a book club book, and -1 roll. Yeah, so for the start of February, I have complete my January TBR. I will be picking a reward out and using it in that month's game. However, if I don't complete the previous month's TBR, then I have to pick out a grey prompt, and grey are punishments. We also have 7 punishments that I could end up picking out of the jar, and if I need to pick out a punishment, the 7 options I am picking from are: ignore the next ladder, every book that month must be 400 plus pages, read something I've been putting off, +1 roll, J gives me an additional prompt that I need to work into that month, read from my least favourite genre, and I haven't named a genre because I feel like depending on time of year and how I'm feeling, like that could change. Most of the time it's probably going to be classics or contemporary, but depending on where my headspace is, this could be a different genre depending. So yeah, that's just been left as least favourite. And unhaul a book, which I think is the most scary of the punishments, because you know, no one likes unhauling books, especially if you haven't read them. And yeah, but if I'm not finishing my TBR, then I obviously wasn't interested enough to read the book. So yeah, I could end up picking out a punishment that is to unhaul a book. So yeah, I believe that those are all the rules, and you should hopefully now be able to understand the game. Any questions, any queries, leave them down below in the comments. I will do my very best to get back to anything and everything asked. But yeah, I think that's it. So let's just get into the game and get into the rolls. Okay, we are ready to roll. I've got my little dinosaur on counter number 1. I've got all my cards set up over here, and unfortunately I have got my phone with a dice on it. I lost my 8-sided die a few months back. I have ordered another one, but it has not arrived in time to do our first rolls of the new year. So we're just going to use the phone for now, and hopefully that dice will have arrived by next month. So yeah, let's just do it. Roll number 1. So that is a 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is yellow. Yellow is type. Oh my gosh, our first prompt of 2024, our first prompt for our January TBR is to continue a series. Okay, yeah, we can definitely do that. Okay, so roll number 1, our first roll of January, we got a type card, and that was to continue a series. So the book that I ended up picking up for this one is Archangel's Shadow. I do believe that this is book 7 in the Guild Hunter series. It is a series that I started in 2023, and it's really fun. We follow hunters who are essentially like supernatural law enforcement, and angels and archangels who all live in the same world. Most of the books are actually set in New York, and we follow their day-to-day lives. And I would say this is probably like a fantasy romance, but it is very heavy on the plot. Like there's always a romantic aspect going on in the book, or we are following a couple in some way or another, but they are quite plot heavy in that. Yeah, it really is like hitting the sweet spot for me in what I like. So yeah, this is book 7. I can't tell you a lot about it, but I'm very excited. In book 7 I know that I'm following some people that we've already followed in a couple of the books, so I'm very excited to see where this goes and what we get added to the story, because book 6 ended in a very interesting way, and I'd really like to figure out where we're going from there. Okay, roll number 2 is a 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That is a yellow again, so that is type again. Okay, our second type, our second prompt is, okay, to start a series. We can also do that. We can definitely also do that. Then roll number 2, we got another type card, and that type is to start a series. So for this one, I've decided to go with The Colour of Magic. This is the first book in the Discworld series by Terry Pratchett, and this is also in the Rinceworld books as well. So it's number 1 in Discworld and number 1 in Rinceworld. I know nothing about this, but I'm very intrigued and I really want to give it a go. On the back it just says, in the beginning there was a turtle. Somewhere on the frontier between thought and reality exists the Discworld, a parallel time and place which might sound and smell very much like our own, but which looks completely different. Particularly, it's carried through space on the back of a giant turtle, sex unknown. It plays by different rules, but then some things are the same everywhere. The Disc's very existence is about to be threatened by a strange new blight, the world's first tourist, upon whose survival rests the peace and prosperity of the land. Unfortunately, the person charged with maintaining that survival in the face of robbers, mercenaries and, well, death is a spectacularly inept wizard. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be like a little campy, a little silly, but I think it's going to be a fun time that like really does build this world out. So yeah, really excited to start this one. Roll number 3 is a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my gosh, okay. Yellow again. Don't know. Yeah, we're just getting a lot of types, so let's pick our third prompt, another type, and this is, okay, a Kindle book. Okay, we can definitely do that too. Then roll number 3, we got another type, which is quite shocking because there's lots to pick from, but that type card was Kindle, so this is a Kindle book. And I have checked on my Kindle and I have a book that I'm quite excited to read called Tea Leaves. So this is the cover. You can't see it very well. I'll overlay a picture, but yeah, it's called Tea Leaves and it is a load of short stories surrounding tea, but I think a lot of them are also about like identity and knowing yourself and exploring yourself. And yeah, it's got quite good ratings and I'm very intrigued by it, and it's got an absolutely stunning cover, so it's always a bonus. Roll number 4 is an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is blue, which is game. So our first game prompt number 4 is last letter to first letter. So the last letter of the previous book must be the first letter of this book. Then roll number 4, we got game, and the game was first letter, last letter. So the last letter of Tea Leaves is an S. So the first letter of this pick must start with an S. What I've decided to go for is this very, very little one called So Late in the Day. I very recently found this in a free little library like phone box book exchange whilst I was on the way to get some food. Saw the book exchange, so popped in to see it. I don't know a lot about this, but it intrigued me enough at the time to pick it up. And I feel like when I do find books in these book exchanges, they are kind of ones where I should read them quickly. I'm probably not going to get to them, so I'm very intrigued. We don't know much about it. Even in the synopsis there's really not much written. It just says, after an uneventful Friday at the Dublin office, Cavill faces into the long weekend and takes the buzz home. There his mind agitates over a woman named Sabine with whom he could have spent his life had he acted differently. All evening, with only the television and a bottle of champagne for company, thoughts of this woman and others intrude, and the true significance of this particular date is revealed. That's it, that's all we know. So I'm very intrigued. I think it's going to be quite mundane, quite everyday, quite slice of life, which I don't read a lot of, but there can be hit or miss, and I'm hoping this one will be a hit. And then roll number 5, hopefully our penultimate roll, is a 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that is orange, which is genre-ish, and this is poetry. Okay, that could be cute. Yeah, we've definitely got a few poetry books. Then roll number 5, we got genre-ish, and the genre was poetry. So I'm very excited. I've really been getting into poetry and learning what I like. I read a book, it's either the start of 2023 or the end of 2022, called Serenity by h.eather.e.lizabeth, and I recently got another one of their collections called Euphoria. This is actually their debut collection, and that is all I know. That is absolutely all I know about it. On the back it says, "I can wander far from my origins, but I know I will be welcomed home with open arms." Yeah, and it's a poet whose work I've read before and I really enjoyed what I read. So when I found a different collection by them, which was also their debut collection, I thought I'd pick it up and give it a go, and hopefully I enjoy it as much as I enjoyed the other book that I've read by them. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. And then roll number 6, hopefully our final roll is a 2. 1, 2, and that is purple. So our final prompt number 6 for January TBR is going to be plants on the cover. Okie dokie then. And then roll number 6, we got visual, and the visual prompt was plants on the cover. Now, I actually found this more difficult than I thought it would. I thought a lot of books would have plants on the cover, and there were like 3 that I was quite confident would have plants on the cover and didn't. But then I remembered about this one, and the reason I don't think I thought of this one straight away is because it actually doesn't come out till the middle of January, but my delivery arrived early, so I'm not complaining. And this is Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. Oh my god, I really want to say Otherworld every time I say this title, but it's Otherlands. And this is the second book in the Emily Wilde series, the first one being Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. And I'm really intrigued to give the second book a go. I enjoyed the first book. There were aspects of it that I found just a little bit annoying, to be honest, but it was still a really solid 4 stars. And by the end of the book, I really liked their characters. I really liked the dynamic and kind of how the plot's going to go. And I think in this book we've just got like an entirely new exploration, adventure thing to go on. And I think it starts off quite a while after the previous book. I can't remember what year we were in the previous book, but I'm sure we were doing October in the other book, and this is starting in September, so I've got a feeling that this takes place like almost a year after the other one, but I guess I'll figure it out. And yeah, I'm really intrigued. It literally, obviously I can't say anything because it's book 2 in the series, but it does look like we've just got another adventure to go on. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies was Emily Wilde going to this little town to try and get the last fairy knowledge she needed to do her encyclopedia, as she got one type of fairy left to like try and document as much of as possible. And we meet a lot of people along the way. We have this community feeling. We meet many people, and I don't know, like there is plot to this book, but I'd say a lot of it is just based on characters, on vibes, and on a good time. So yeah, can't wait to pick up book 2. And those are all of the books that are on my official January TBR. So I'm really excited about that, and I think it's going to be a good time. There is one more book that I need to read in January that I haven't managed to fit on my TBR, and the book I'm going to be picking is Pain and Prejudice, A Call to Arms for Women and Their Bodies. The reason this is important is because, like most years, I am going to be trying to complete the buzzword reading challenge, and the prompt for January is there, or there. Yeah, a book with one of the theirs in their title, and this one has one of the theirs in their title. Surprisingly difficult to find. I don't know if that's just the type of books that I read, but I did find this difficult to do, but I picked one and I'm excited about it. So I'm also going to be adding this to the TBR, which makes it 7 books that I need to read. 6 of them on the official TBR that if I don't get to, I'll have to be picking a punishment next month. But if I complete these 6, then I'll get a reward. And then an additional one on top that I should really try and get to as much as possible if I want to complete the buzzword reading challenge. So yeah, that is all of the books. I think that's everything from me today. Let me know what you thought of the new board. Did you like it? Did you not like it? It's very similar to the old one. We just did a different colour theme, which I'm hoping will show up a lot better on camera, because that was the one thing that was not amazing about the previous one. And it also like doesn't have bends everywhere, so I'm going to try and keep this one in better condition. But yeah, we've got a lot of fun things to look forward to, and I'm really excited about this like new edition of the TBR game. I'm still keeping the title the exact same. It's basically the same game, we've just added extra stuff in. If I really wanted to, I suppose this is like Snakes and Ladders TBR 2.0. We're just going to stick with Snakes and Ladders TBR. So yeah, I do really hope you enjoyed the video. Please do give it a like if you liked it. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of the books on my January TBR, and what books have you got on your January TBR. Do subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye!